I've never heard a single black mother say, you know, well, I was just out here, you know what I'm saying, being loosey-goosey with it, and I like the thugs. I didn't care that he didn't have any parental qualities and traits within him. I didn't care at the time. All I knew is that he made me feel safe because he tote guns around all day, and he made my vagina wet. He made my clit throb.
Oh hell no!
so when you know, and I really love it when he nuts in me. It is what it is. Say that. Just say that. Just say that. Why you gotta tear him down? Tear him down crying and boohooing for sympathy when you got yourself in the predicament in the first place. Like, just say what it is. Say what it was. You know what I'm saying? Say what it was. Like why are you playing in our faces? Why are you playing in our faces?
I can't wait so we can
This is a 6 minute long vid.
Uncomfortable conversation
6 minutes
about women who raise children by themselves in the economy that we live in.
Here we go. Here go the roller coaster. Hands up.
How many mothers that actually have to figure out a way to make it in a one-parent household with children and just one person that provides.
Whoa, here we go.
Nobody wants to talk about the moments when I spent every single dime of my money to buy a car that ain't working good no more, and I have to buy another car.
We need to know all of this, right?
My rent is behind because I had to pay for something else.
It's our fault.
Something else more, and I have to choose what they need
we did
more.
It.
Or the birthdays that I celebrate by myself.
Right.
That I orchestrate.
Why are you by yourself, man?
Nobody else. Or the holidays when people get lots of gifts and they get celebrated and I don't get nothing. Or when I'm celebrating other people and I don't feel celebrated.
Let's fast forward a little bit.
From a motherfucking breakup.
And then she gets louder progressively.
As soon as possible. Or what about the time when I was growing up as a child with a single mother?
Now she's going to her childhood.
That wasn't there, so boom, there goes something fucking else for me to heal from.
Okay, so she was raised by a single mother. And so she's repeating the cycle.
I'm so fucking overwhelmed.
Okay, we get that.
I'm so fucking tired of making shit happen.
We get that.
All the fucking time. I am fucking tired.
Wow.
I look like that. Oh, why your nails ain't doing? Oh, why do you have those huge bags under your eyes, bitch? I'm fucking depressed. What the fuck else do you fucking want? And the fucked up part is, I cannot fucking do this shit in front of my fucking kids because they think I'm so fucking strong.
This is halfway in.
I'm so fucking tapped out. And I don't know what the fuck to do about it. I've been pushing and praying and praying and pushing and praying and fucking pushing. Like, what the fuck? Y'all, that shit is getting so fucking overwhelming. I have to find
you know,
to go to the
her tears are really compelling. Like, she's really boohoo crying. It's very distracting, I'll say.
To make ends meet because I'm all that my kids got.
Even as a man, I'm like, oh.
I'm all they fucking got.
Those are real tears. I give it to her.
I'm late for work every single fucking day.
You done?
I'm just over fucking well.
You good?
I'm tired of feeling not seen. I'm tired.
She's tired, guys. She's tired.
I can't.
Fellas, how many times have you been in a situation with a woman and she gave you the Sonya Blade? How many times has that happened to you? How many times has she wrapped her legs around you?
Oh my God!
How many times has she held on to your ass or your hips when you was in that moment? Come on, you gotta reverse engineer. Let's stop playing in each other's faces. Let's call things what they are. Okay, I asked, how did I become a single parent? Well, I left it in. You know what I'm saying? I left it in. It's really that simple. I chose the wrong woman. You know what I'm saying? I was following my lustful desires. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I didn't think she would get pregnant, and she did, and she wasn't the best person to have a child with. You know what I mean? I could. That just is what it is. I've never heard a woman open up like that. I've never heard a single black mother say something to that regard. You know, and this is another avenue of accountability. Oh boy, I said the A word. Oh no. He said the A word. Women, watch out. Oh boy, he said the A word. Yes, accountability. Because what would this woman, how much crying would she do in this video if she was to take accountability? You know what I'm saying? How much boohooing and I do so much and woe is me would she be doing if she would say like, yo, I follow the generational curse. I basically repeated the cycle that my parents had set before me. I didn't know any better. You know what I mean? All of those things. I like getting cream pied. just say what it is. Say what it is. Once again, this is the too much to ask for question. If I can hold myself accountable, if I can reverse engineer my predicament, so can you. It's possible. But how much of this woman's ego wants to say that it's the man she had the children with fault? How much of her ego wants to say that she's a victim? How much of her ego wants to say that she's such a damsel in distress and she needs help and she did nothing wrong? Right? How much of her ego wants to do that? And so when you get past the tears and when you get past the boohooing, you got to bear that in mind. How did we get here? How did we get here? And I guarantee you, when you ask that question, that's when she gonna fight you. Okay, sis, you burned out. I get it, but why? Why are you burned out? Why are you by yourself? Why are you not married? Why weren't you married? I feel like here's the thing. I feel like, yes, you are on a biological clock. You have more control over having kids. As a woman, you have more control over having kids than you do getting married. I do understand that. And so when you look at the timeline of your maternity and you saying to yourself, okay, what is the likeliness of me ever getting married as opposed to the likeliness of me getting pregnant, right? And you look at that and it's like, I don't know.
Oh my God.
So you say, well, what should I settle for? You got to come to a point and say, well, you know what? I could have a kid. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got the rest of my life to get married, but I only have such a small window to have a kid. That's my biological imperative, right? So, so, you know, you bite the bullet. And then women are not, their brains aren't really designed to look at the future like that. You know what I'm saying? And they're just not. And this is how you have women who say that children are a blessing and their life look like a curse. It is what it is. It is what it is. Because that how many dudes have told you to get, how many dudes have you gotten pregnant by that told you to get the abortion? I know it's harsh. I know it's harsh, but then again, you got to reverse engineer. And I know a lot of you ladies don't care to do that. All you see is her tears. And that's all you care about. But you never stop to ask, okay, how did we get here? Or no, you don't want to ask, how did we get here? You know what I mean? And you know, me as a single father, I can talk about this. And I think this is the only reason that I'm actually shedding light on this topic right about now. Because this came across my feed, I felt like it was something good to talk about. And I'm in a position to talk about it. You know what I mean? Normally I would critique things from the outside looking in, but I mean, but like for real, like you're biologically designed to procreate, right? You want, as a woman, it's in you. It's an engine in you to want to have children. I get that, and that's from God. That's God put that engine in you. You know what I'm saying? But your higher self, your higher thinking self. Maybe that's too much to ask. Maybe that's just too much to ask. Can I afford this child? Am I in the situation? Am I in the predicament to afford this child? Like, come on, come on. Now here's another one of these. I don't, you know, in the past I've had my my judgments on single mothers. I've had my judgments on you know, the degeneracy of certain types of black women in the past. You know what I mean? I said what needed to be said and I moved on. You know what I mean? 777. And so I know in a lot of cases I'm preaching to the choir, and then in some cases I'm beating a dead horse. But I do believe that it still needs to be spoken up about and spoken up against. There needs to be some light shed on it, and it does need to be this particular mentality does need to be exposed. Because enough of me. Let's take a look at what this young woman has to say. Like I said, the tears are very distracting. The tears are very distracting. You know, you see somebody hurt, you see somebody crying, you see somebody bawling out, and you know, it caters to your instincts. It caters to your instincts. I get that. Does this person, regardless of whether she's a man or a woman, does this human being deserve any sympathy? Does she deserve any sympathy? Now, I myself happen to be a single parent, right? And I guess it's a different dynamic because I'm a single father, and me being a man, I go about life differently. You know what I'm saying? I'm wired differently, just genetically, biologically, I'm wired differently. So I go about life differently. My struggles are different as opposed to a woman's. You know what I mean? You have to respect gender. You have to respect gender. You can't eliminate the effects of gender and how that steers a person's life. You know what I mean? And, I didn't care to watch it straight through because it's just, she's not the first or the last. I mean, if you've seen one, you've seen them all, right? But I did catch her mentioning that her father abandoned her. You know what I mean? So there is an abandonment issue. You know what I mean? And then, you know, perception is reality. She says she doesn't feel seen. You know what I mean? She doesn't feel seen. You know, she comes to work late every day. She's constantly pushing and pushing. You know what I mean?